So stage one, initiation stage, as the name suggests, you are going to initiate a project. Before initiation, you must be having some kind of idea. So before initiation, you are having an idea, you want to do something, you want to do a project, you identified a gap, and you think of doing it as a project. So once you decided to do it as a project, now you need to initiate it. So when you are going to initiate a project, you need to follow certain points. You need to make sure that all these points has been well defined and well explained. So what you're going to do, you're going to do a business case. Business case means you have identified a gap. So what is the meaning of that gap? What solution you are planning to do? So all these things have been recorded in business case. Right. So we have discussed in our last lecture, we have discussed something like there is a flower waste and you want to manage a flower waste. So why there is a requirement to manage a flower waste? Because flower waste is doing air pollution and water pollution, and you want to manage flower waste, and your motive is to make it an economical venture. So you just don't want to do a social activity, a social care activity. You want to make a profit out of it. So you develop a business case, right? There is a flower waste, and flower waste is causing pollution to air and water. And through the management of flower waste, you want to earn some kind of profit, economical profit. So that becomes your case, right? And feasibility study is something in which you identify what are the possible solutions, how you can manage that flower waste. So what are the various possible solutions you can go for? So you may go for likewise uh, uh, whatever can be. Again, you can gather it from various places and you can dump it somewhere. You can clean it and make it as some kind of scent, a fragrance product. So something a feasible study, a feasible solution. So you must be finding out there are two or more than one possible solutions are there, and which one is most appropriate solution for the flower waste management, and that going to give you maximum profit. So feasibility study is conducted just to identify the possible solution we are thinking of, whether all those solutions are possible, feasible to carry on or not. And if all the solutions are feasible to carry on, now which out of all those solutions, which one should be the best solution? So feasibility study is to identify whether the solution is feasible or not. Once we identified less possible solutions are feasible, then which one is the best possible solution that we need to identify in feasibility study. So once we identified the solutions we are thinking of is very much feasible, it's going to give us some kind of profit. So next we are going to drive a document, that is project charter. Project charter is nothing, it's a detailed document which quote all the rules and regulations of the project. So how you are going to carry on a project, what will be all the rules and regulations that each and everyone who is associated with the project need to comply with. So you have to document each and everything. Until unless you document all the rules and regulations, you cannot monitor the project. For the monitoring purpose, for providing proper guidance, you document all the rules and regulations. And that draft document is known as project charter. So each and every time when you stuck somewhere, when you want to know clarity, when you want to have a clarity, whatever work we are doing, whether we are doing it in an appropriate manner or not, you need to go and refer to the project charter. The project charter is going to give you an idea of how to do, what rules you need to comply with when you are going and carrying on with some kind of project. Next is job description. In job description, what you are going to do in job description, you are going to identify the roles and what are the responsibility of each and every role. So job description is very essential part. You have to identify various roles of the various person associated with the project and what are the various responsibilities you have assigned to each and every role. Until and unless you describe it very appropriately in detail, you cannot make sure the person is doing his job until unless you make them clear this is your job. So you have to make them clear this is your particular job, this work has to be done, and once you do this thing, then you can make sure you can follow it up, you can make that particular person responsible for the particular work has been assigned for. Getting point. So until the job description is there, you cannot make sure the particular what role has been assigned to whom and who is responsible to do what work. So job description is very much essential. Once job description is there, next you are going to have a project office from where you are going to manage the project, where the project need to be carried out. So you need to identify the location, the project office where all the tools and equipments been there to carry out the project. So lastly in the initiation stage, you need to have a project office. Once all these parts are done, then you are going to do a resource planning. Planning part is there. What you're going to do in planning, you're going to do resource planning. You need to identify what are the resources you require to carry on that particular project. So in resource planning, all those resources should be identified. So if I'm going to tell you, you need to do a flower waste management, and for that you need to have a space. You need to have a certain people as an employee, and you need to have a certain funds. You need to have a technology. You need to have machinery to process flower waste. So you need to identify all the resources you require to carry on the project. It requires financial resources also, human resources, technique, technology, tools, whatever resources you require, each and everything should be make very much clear all these resources we require and how we are going to acquire it. So requirement, what we require and how you are going to manage it, each and everything should be mentioned in resource plan. Once resource plan is there, then you go for financial plan. In the financial plan, you identify the cost of the project, what cost you are incurring, what profit you are going to earn. All those things has been planned out in financial plan. Once financial planning is done, then you go for quality planning. Quality planning means what should be the quality of the output that you are planning to do. Getting point. So you need to specify very appropriately this is going to be the quality of our project output. Until and unless we identify what should be the quality of the project output, you cannot make sure up to what standard the production or up to what standard the project should be carried out. So quality planning should be there. You need to specify the quality of the project output. Then risk planning. Each and every project involves lots of risk. Risk can be you don't receive approval from the government. Risk can be the cost of the raw material increases. Risk can be the labor is not agreed to work. Risk can be you won't able to arrange financial resources. Risk can be the process you identified as a possible solution won't work out when you carry on a project. Risk can be the output you are producing won't be accepted by the customer or the client. So all these are the risks. So you have to plan it out. What are the possible risks that is involved with the project and how you are going to manage it. If this thing happens, what can be the possible solution for it? So risk planning is very must. Getting point. Then acceptance plan. Acceptance plan is something like you need to have a plan. That means when you carried on a project, you classify it into a various stages. And after completion of each and every stage, you get an approval from your client or customer. So this is the project, this much work has been done. Whether this is the work we have completed till date, it has been accepted by you or not. So client, you need to get acceptance from the client or customer. If you carrying on a project on behalf of your client and customer, and you don't get acceptance, timely acceptance, and you are planning to get acceptance after completion of entire project, and client doesn't give acceptance for the entire project, then the entire work that you have carried on will be into waste. So you classify a project completion stages into various categories, and you ask acceptance after completion of each and every stage, so that the work you are completing is been approved, and you are making yourself secure that there is no chance of rejection once the project is completed. Then communication plan, you need to have a communication plan, who to communicate with whom, who is the particular person. There should be a hierarchy structure through which communication should be carried out. So you need to have a communication plan. Most of the projects fail because they don't have a communication plan. If you doesn't identify particular person has to approach to whom for particular work, then there will be no flow of proper work. Grapevine may prevail in the project since you have not identified the proper communication channel. So communication plan is very must. You need to identify if someone is labor, he has to communicate his problem to the supervisor. Supervisor has to communicate it to the senior, the manager, and the manager of various activities has to communicate to the project manager. Project manager then going to communicate to the upper management, something like this. So there should be a proper communication channel should be there. In the absence of communication channel, if you don't know to whom to communicate, if you're facing some kind of problem and you don't know to whom to communicate, then you cannot assure the project will be completed or it will be completed on time, the quality will be assured. So you cannot make things clear very much. Communication plan should be there. Procurement plan, how you are going to procure various resources. So that something should be mentioned in your procurement plan. Okay. So you are going to identify the supplier. This is going to be my supplier. He has to supply at what price he is going to supply the requisite requirements in a particular time frame. So that's going to be the part of procurement plan. So this is the planning stage. When the planning stage is done, you make sure all the requirements has been arranged. Then you go and execute a project. Next, we are having an execution stage. Under execution stage, you do a project time management. Project time management is very much essential for the completion of the project on time. You on a regular interval review the completion of the project so that the project is completed on time. So if you have make a timeline that project should be completed in next 2 years, whatever time frame, depending on the type of project you are carrying on. So the time frame you have assigned to for the completion of the project, for that you need to have a proper time management. For proper time management, you need to review the completion of the work on a regular interval. You need to have proper guidelines. You need to have a timeline, and you need to make sure that that timeline is being complied with. So the timeline you have assigned, this work should be completed in this particular time frame, and that you need to make sure that that work has been done in that particular time. Next, we are having a project cost management. Now, when we're talking about project cost management, sometimes when we carried on a project and we quote an initial price, you quote this project is going to cost you 10 crore rupees. Initially, you have quoted 10 crore rupees and you make a clause over there, escalation clause is there. In case if this particular cost raises, the project cost will be increased by 10%. So that is the part of project contract. When you do a project contract, a document, so that is mentioned over there. Like the total cost is 10%, but in future it's going to be completed next 2 years. In next 2 years, there are chances raw material price may increase, labor charges may increase, and if there is any rise in labor charges or raw material, the total value of the project will increase by 10% if the price rises by this much, something like this. So that is very much mentioned over there. So suppose the project cost is 10 crore rupee, in maximum case it can be up to 11 crore rupee, and you are planning it out. If the cost increased by something, you are going to get additional 1 crore rupees. So 10 crore plus 1 crore additional if cost increases. Now when we have made that clause, so we have think of very limited cost increment, like raw material cost may increase, labor charges may increase, something like this. But practically, when you do a project cost management, So you need to identify what are the other costs which you don't control over. कुछ ऐसी कॉस्ट रहती है जिसको हम कंट्रोल ही नहीं कर सकते हैं, या हमको पता ही नहीं चलता है कि अरे इस कॉस्ट में इतना ज़्यादा डिफरेंस आ रहा है जो हमने पहले कभी प्लान ही नहीं किया। जैसे कि अभी हम लोग भी बात कर रहे हैं इस एक्सप्रेस वे का, हमने एज अ प्रोजेक्ट की हम बात कर रहे हैं, तो गवर्नमेंट ने प्लान किया कि जो भी सर्कल रेट है उसका 10 टाइम्स तक आप पे करेंगे। तो जो भी लैंड एक्वायर की है उसका सर्कल रेट का 10 टाइम्स तक का कॉम्पनसेशन पे किया जाएगा। तो जब हमने कॉस्ट असाइन किया गया होगा तो हमने ये कॉस्ट इंक्लूड किया कि इतनी लैंड हम एक्वायर कर रहे हैं, सर्कल रेट इतना रहता है, एंड वी आर गोइंग टू पे 10 टाइम्स ऑफ द सर्कल रेट। क्लियर है? ठीक है। प्रैक्टिकली जब हम गए 10 टाइम्स तक हमने सर्कल रेट इन फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में लैंड ओनर को पे कर दिया। लैंड ओनर ने कोर्ट में केस फाइल कर दिया, भैया ये तो कॉम्पोजिशन बहुत कम है, हमारी तो जमीन चली गई, हम तो हमारा रोजगार चला गया, ये और वो, हम कमाएंगे खाएंगे कैसे, हमारी खेती की जमीन ले ली है, कुछ भी किसी वजह से बहुत कम कॉम्पोजिशन दिया है। तो कोर्ट ने ऑर्डर किया कि नहीं आप इनको हायर रेट से कॉम्पोजिशन दीजिए। Now you cannot control that cost. So when we are doing project cost management, so we deal with lots of cost. Some cost we are able to manage, but some cost we are not able to manage. So we have to make it sure the cost we are able to manage, we manage it very well, so that the entire cost of the project doesn't increase. Quality management. So quality management, when you are executing a project, you are going to complete the project, and that project you are going to either construct a expressway, a factory, a product, an idea in service, anything. The project can be of anything. So you need to make sure the quality you have earlier explained has been ensured, that the deliverables which will be the output of the project, has been actually achieved. So for that you need to have a proper quality control system, timely review of the progress of the output, timely review of the quality of the output. So that's something that need to be assured. So quality management. Okay, last we are having acceptance management. Acceptance plan हम लोगों ने डिस्कस किया था। ठीक है, acceptance management means you need to get an acceptance from your customer or the client for whom that project has been carried out. So how come that acceptance going to get? You need to have a proper inspection over there, timely review, timely acceptance, so that ultimately when the project is ready, you get a final acceptance from the client or customer. So you need to have a proper acceptance management in place. So how you are going to get that acceptance? You have a proper inspection. Inspection report is there. Client come and review and inspect. They can test the output and deliverables, whatever. And timely review and acceptance before the completion of the project. Make sure once the output is ready, so client don't have any kind of area scope to reject the project, because you have get prior approvals also.